converts water to vapor, protects firefighters through its relentless water supply, maneuvers through narrow lanes and rough terrain. These are certainly not the type of news stories we want to wake up to every morning. Solution is here. RIV stands for Rapid Intervention Vehicle, a sleek dual-agent extinguishing system with an integrated water and foam tank, specially designed by John Holt PLC, a veritable tool for safeguarding lives and property. RIV leaves no water damage as it converts water to vapor, protects firefighters through its relentless water supply, maneuvers through narrow lanes and rough terrain. These are certainly not the type of news stories we want to wake up to every morning. Solution is here. RIV stands for Rapid Intervention Vehicle, a sleek dual-agent extinguishing system with an integrated water and foam tank, specially designed by John Holt PLC, a veritable tool for safeguarding lives and property. RIV leaves no water damage as it converts water to vapor, protects firefighters through its relentless water supply, maneuvers through narrow lanes and rough terrain. These are certainly not the type of news stories we want to wake up to every morning. Solution is here. RIV stands for Rapid Intervention Vehicle, a sleek dual-agent extinguishing system with an integrated water and foam tank, specially designed by John Holt PLC, a veritable tool for safeguarding lives and property. RIV leaves no water damage as it converts water to vapor.
Three members present in person of court, and the registrar the quorum has been formed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, directors and esteemed shareholders. I hereby confirm that 70 proxies and 7 shareholders representing 221,087,506 units of shares have been recorded as being present. Total attendance is as follows: 70 proxies, 7 shareholders, 221,087,505 units. 66.81%.
Thank you very much. I wish to inform you that this meeting is being held by order to the approval of the Corporate Affairs Commission and the NGX Limited. In addition, the meeting is and others who are not physically present. This is in accordance with the COVID-19 CAC guidelines. In view of the vote, other directors as well as audit committee meeting virtually. Therefore, this meeting is duly convened. Accordingly, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the 59th Annual General Meeting of our company, which I now declare open. May I request that someone say the opening prayer? Can somebody please volunteer to say the opening prayer?
Hello. We thank you, O Lord, for bringing us together to deliberate once again on the progress of our company, John Bolt PLC. We thank you for the journey so far, and we thank you for where you are taking us to. We thank you for the life of our directors, the stakeholders, and our customers. And we pray that as we shall be deliberating on the way forward on this company, divine guidance will come and you will lead us through in Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord.
Distinguished shareholders, I would like to report that there is an addition to the board. The approval addition. The board vetted the appointment of Mr. Njubumo as non-executive director. His profile is concerned. You will have an opportunity to move or to second each of the motions into the meeting and to make contributions as you may wish. There will thereafter be an opportunity for questions on each motion before a vote is taken. Please ensure that you raise your hand and receive approval before you speak. Microphones and amplifying equipment have been placed strategically so that everyone should be able to hear. I would therefore request that you speak audibly and commence by stating your names. The register of directors' shareholding is available with the registrars for inspection during this meeting in compliance with the provisions of Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Before we proceed to the more formal matters on the agenda, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to you the directors of your company. I am Christopher Ikechieze, the chairman of the board. On my left are Dr. Christopher Ikechieze, the group managing director, and Mr. Deche Okeje, the finance director. On my right is the company secretary, Mrs. Ada Mpocha. Other directors are attending virtually in accordance with provisions of the Health Protection Regulation 2021. Nevertheless, I would like to introduce them to you. The other directors are Mr. Paul Nunes, Mr. David Pamley, Mr. Sheriff Yusuf, and Mr. Adim Jibuno, who was appointed the director after the last age. Maybe some technical Sharif Yusuf. How about the rest? See him. Have you got the rest on? And probably some technical problems there. To shoot to us. Even his target, everything is transcop and not transcop. Noted. I will make sure he hears it. I'm therefore representing these directors, while the shareholders representatives on the audit committee are represented by Chief Olu Akoni. He has. The other shareholders representatives on the audit committee are Mr. Samuel Pamugo and Christopher Mwago. I also introduce the representatives of the Exchange Commission, Mr. Olusegun, right at your back. The Corporate Affairs Commission, and they represented. The NGX Regulation Limited, formerly Nigerian Ms. Brenda Duke. Okay. Our auditors, Mr. Oluyemi. Thank you. Our registrar, Mr. Toben Maduboise. The Corporate Affairs Commission had informed us that they would not be able to join the meeting physically, but to join us virtually. I wish to also introduce the shareholders present, who are also acting as proxies for the shareholders that cannot be physically present due to the pandemic. There are Sir Sonny Musu, Chief Timothy and myself, the chairman. Others are Mr. Kenneth Musu and Alaja Udaishi Ayodele. I now call on the company secretary to please read the notice.
The chairman, directors present, the shareholders and regulators. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The notice of meeting is on pages 6 and 7 of the annual report and accounts. I now read. Notice is hereby given that the 59th annual general meeting of the members of John Holt PLC will be held at Radisson Blu Hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos, on Thursday, 9th of September 2021 at 11 a.m. to transact the following business. 1. To lay before the meeting the Director's report and financial statement for the year ended 30th September 2020, the report of the auditors and the audit committee thereon. To elect and re-elect directors. To authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. To disclose the remuneration of the managers of the company in line with the provisions of Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. To elect members of the audit committee. Special business. To fix the remuneration of directors. 7. To consider and pass the following resolution as an ordinary resolution of the company. That the general mandate given to the company to enter into recurrent transaction with related parties for the day-to-day operation in compliance with NSC/NGX rules governing transaction with related parties or interested persons be and is hereby renewed. By order of the board, Ada Unkocha, Company Secretary. Distinguished shareholders, may I crave your indulgence to take the notes to the notice as read. Thank you.
The checking of temperatures and ensuring social distancing between attendees. Before we move to item 1 on the agenda, let me present to you the chairman's statement contained in page 10 in the annual report on the accounts already circulated. Thank you, distinguished. Item 1. Agenda. That you have had the accounts the period ended October 2020. I would now like to formally lay before the meeting the annual report on accounts, including the audited financial statement for the year ending 30th September, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee thereon. Ask representatives of the auditors to please read the report of the auditors, which is on page 25 to 27 of the annual report on the accounts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The auditor's report is found on pages 25 to 27. Report of the independent auditors to the shareholders of John Holt PLC and the subsidiary companies. Report on the audit of the financial statements. Opinion. We have audited their company's separate and consolidated financial statements of John Holt PLC, the company, and the subsidiary companies, together the group. These financial statements comprise the consolidated and separate statements of financial position as at 30 September 2020, the consolidated and separate statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, consolidated and separate statements of changes in equity, and consolidated and separate statements of cash flows for the year then ended, and a summary of the significant accounting policies and other explanatory notes. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company's financial position as at 30 September 2020 and of its financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with international financial reporting standards and in compliance with the relevant provisions of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act number 6 2011 and the Companies and Allied Matters Act CAPC 20 LFM 2004. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement section of this report. We are independent of the company in accordance with International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, together with the ethical requirements that are relevant to our audit of the financial statements in Nigeria, and we have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with these requirements and the International Ethics Standards Board Code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Key audit matters. Key audit matter relates to issue that in our professional judgment is of most significance in our audit of the financial statement of the current period. This matter was addressed in the context of our audit of the financial statements as a whole, and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on this matter. Valuation of investment properties. The group's and company's investment properties were revalued by Messrs. Knight Frank Nigeria, Estate Surveyors and Valuers, Chartered Surveyors at a value of 4.85 billion naira and 2.71 billion naira respectively as at 30 September 2020, 2019, 6.27 billion naira and 2.84 billion naira. These valuations are independent on certain key assumptions and significant judgments, including capitalization rates and fair market rents. Our response. Our procedures in relation to the management's valuation of investment properties included evaluation of the independent external valuer's competence, capabilities, and objectivity, assessing the methodologies used and the appropriateness of the key assumptions, checking the accuracy and relevance of the input data used. We found the disclosures in Note 21 to be appropriate based on the assumptions and available evidence. Other information. The directors are responsible for the other information. The other information comprises the information included in the chairman's and director's statements, but does not include the financial statements and the auditor's report thereon. Our opinion on the financial statements does not cover the other information, and we do not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of the financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information, and in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the financial statements or our knowledge obtained during the audit or otherwise appears to be materially misstated. If, based on the work we have performed, we conclude that there is a material misstatement of this information, we are required to report that fact. We have nothing to report in this regard. Responsibilities of directors and for the financial statements. The directors are responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with international financial reporting standards issued by the International Accounting Standards Board and in compliance with the relevant provisions of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act No. 6 2011 and the Companies and Allied Matters Act CAP C20 LFN 2004, and for such internal control as the directors determine is necessary to enable preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the financial statements, the directors are responsible for assessing the company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters related to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless the directors either intend to liquidate the company or to cease operations or have no realistic alternative but to do so. Auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue a report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it's not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with international standards on auditing will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in the aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with international standards on auditing, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than for one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal control. Obtain an understanding of the internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the company's internal control. Evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by the directors. Conclude on the appropriateness of directors' use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our auditor's report to the related disclosures in the financial statements, or, if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the company to cease to continue as a going concern. Evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statements, including the disclosures, and whether the financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieve fair presentation. We communicate with the directors regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, and any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identify during our audit. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. The Companies and Allied Matters Act (CAP) C20 LFN 2004 requires that in carrying out our audit, we consider and report to you on the following matters. We confirm that we have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper books of account have been kept by the company, and the company's statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books. Signed, Ebenezer O. Olabisi, for BDO Professional Services, dated 24 December 2020 in Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Tokumbo Oluyemi. In accordance with the provisions of Section 4047 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the Audit Committee duly carried out their duties as required on the accounts for the period ended 30th September 2020. I now ask the Chairman, Representative of the Audit Committee, Chief Olu Akoni, to please read the Audit Committee report, which is on page 24 of the annual report on the accounts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to do it for printer's error that we have in the account as regards the year ended. John Holt PLC compliance with regulatory requirements. The company continues to ensure that it complies with all regulatory requirements as there were no contraventions during the year. For the year ended 30th September 2020. In accordance with the provisions of Section 404(7) of the Companies and Other Matters Act 2020, we confirm that the accounting and reporting policies of the group are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices. In our opinion, the scope and planning of the audit for the year ended 30th September 2020 were adequate, and having reviewed the auditor's findings on management matters, we are satisfied with management's responses thereto. Dated this 18th day of December 2020. Signed, Olu Akoni, Chairman. Other members of the committee are Mr. Sharif Mojirola Yusuf, Mr. Samuel Mpamugo, Mr. Christopher Ngwaguru, Mr. David Pamley, and Mr. Paul Nils. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Olu Akoni. I'll be pleased to answer questions on the report and the accounts before we proceed to the next item of business. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting?
The chairman of John Holt PLC, the other board members, distinguished fellow shareholders, regulatory authority regulators present, and of course my friend Emeritus Sir Sonny Nwosu. I say good morning to you all. Well, this COVID period is an holiday period for controversies that used to happen at the annual general meetings of John Holt PLC. And I want us to take it as so and take all remedial efforts that could be taken to clear the relationship between shareholders and the board. My name is Chief Timothy Adesina. I am the patron of Nigerian Shareholders Solidarity Association. Thank you. I am happy about things I read on this annual report, especially when you go to page 10, the future, and the comment of the chairman there, the very last sentence on it, we are optimistic about the future. With this, we shareholders too shall become hopeful that all our investments shall not be in vain in John Holt. And also, the chairman has gone further. The following paragraph on our shareholders. He said, the board is grateful to the shareholders for their understanding with respect to dividend payments and believe this will be remedied soon. How soon is soon? Mr. Chairman, we have been friends for many years. You have managed one of the most profitable banks in this company, in this country, especially at the time when you were managing a bank where all your lieutenants were all old people, and we had to continue to complain to you that unless you shove these old people aside, you will just be overworked and all your efforts will not be rewarded. And you did so, and to the glory of God, the bank is still waxing stronger today. Thank you very much. Now, I am happy with the kind of results we are having, despite the fact that COVID has given us a loss of 767 million, which our foreign partners have gradually absorbed. But we don't want this kind of thing to continue. COVID has given us some challenges which we have faced squarely. There is drop in revenue and contributions, and last year results was only achieved through a provision through a provision no longer required, written back. That is what gave us a good or a fair result that year. So I want the company to be more aggressive, and being aggressive, you have given us some platform of your plan, and if one goes to page 4, one will see on paragraphs 3 and 4 your plan to build hybrid gas generators that would reduce diesel consumption by up to 90%. But despite that, the solar energy, which is being tapped into by many companies now, we also are already at it, and we hope we shall develop this in such a way that our fear for Chinese products in those years that Chinese people will bring generators that are cheaper than our own and all these sort of things would be a thing of the past. So this unit on that page 4 again, I refer to this comment. This unit develops, builds and manages power plants of all sizes and supplies power equipment such as transformers, hybrid generators, gas generators, and prepaid meters. And I would have expected that we take advantage of these prepaid meters, which is massively used by the government now to recoup the consumption of current from consumers. I want to know how far we have been able to go on these prepaid meters and our plans for the future on them. I will like to thank the board management and the staff on being steadfast with this company, because not minding what kind of results you will present, You are never timid of holding your AGMs as and as when due. We are proud of you, and we want you to please work more assiduously on how to get dividend for shareholders. We need dividends, and some of us are not getting younger. Even Sasane that used to say he's a young man, you see now that the old man is catching up with him. So we need dividends, and we pray that God will enable staff, management, and the board to take us further in dividends. Thank you. God bless you all.
Mr. Chairman, good morning. Members of the board, regulators present here this morning, distinguished shareholders, good morning. Mr. Chairman, the earlier speaker have spoken on dividends. You know, typical of shareholders, when we open an annual account, the first item we search for is a dividend and how much is going to be paid. But I observed that for a long while, this has not surfaced on our annual account. Like the earlier speaker said, we want you to please, as soon as it is possible, which I pray it should be sooner than we expected, that knowing John Holt for what they were in the past, when we normally have a dividend paid out every year, but all of a sudden that one ceased. I want us to come back to dividend payment as soon as it is possible. Then, Mr. Chairman, I want to ask, what is our diversification intent, if there's any? You know, like the way things are, the economy and everything, and things generally with the COVID around and still not going, we are praying that it goes quickly. Are we thinking of looking at agricultural input and implements? Because knowing what is obtainable in Nigeria nowadays, everything is going agricultural. If you can look into that area and see what we can do for agriculture, I think we shall make a very huge income for the company. It's important. Then on page 11, where we have the central administration, the cost, the exchange loss, the interest and other income, which all cumulated into some quantum of loss to us. I simply want to appreciate that our partners have actually taken off part of this loss, which the earlier speaker too have mentioned. We should see what we can do to make sure that we don't revert back to this situation. Then I'm happy on page 24 that throughout the year, as read by the chairman of the committee, there was no contravention. This is very plausible, and I want us to keep it up, because with this situation we are having today, if we still have to be paying to regulators, that will be a disaster to us. Before God not let us see disaster, so we have to keep that one up. Then on page, I'll take page 28 along with page along with page 54, where we have administrative expenses. It has jumped from what we had last year. I just want to advise that we see what we can do to bring down the figure so that whatever that is brought down will actually play an important part on our bottom figure come next year. We should see what we can do to make sure that we are prudent in managing our management expenses. It is very, very important. On page 63, what are we doing about our receivables, sir? I want us to bring this figure down too. It's higher. Going to page 69, there was this item note 42, contingent liability. I read through that report where it was said that there were contingent liabilities in respect of legal actions against the company, the monetary amount of which cannot be quantified. That is where I get worried. It cannot be quantified, and no provision was made. What of if the unexpected happen? Forgetting what the legal people always tell you, that they don't seem to think that something will come, but what of if? So we have to be very careful, sir. I think those are the few things I've just picked up, and I want to wish us well and to pray that when we have this meeting next year, the account will be a reverse of what we are holding. All of us know what the COVID has brought to us, but we don't have to renege. We have to struggle against it and make sure that it doesn't fall us down yakata. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Chairman, for giving me the opportunity to speak. So I want to speak on page 4. So I want to find out from us, these pictures are good, but the products here, I don't know. My advice here is for us to go back and sit down and look at all these products and check if there is anyone that is not moving or bringing revenue to us. It is better we deal with it and put our money in a better place that can give us a good revenue, sir. 2, sir. The last page, the offices. My name is Wons Kenneth, sir. The branches. We have branches here. I think it's up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, almost 19, sir. Please, I want to find out whether these branches are functioning. And if they are not functioning, we should also do something here, sir. Not wasting money on branches that are not functioning, sir. The last one I want to speak on is audit committee. The FRC and have said that 3 audit committees and 2 directors. But I'm seeing 6 names here. Okay, previous year. Thank you. That is corrected. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, management. Good morning, fellow shareholders. My name is Sason Nwosu. Mr. Chairman, I want to use the abridged because it's part of what was sent out. You know, so Mr. Chairman, let me start with regulatory infractions. It is very clear that if we do not submit our returns at the right time, the regulators will penalize us. Sometimes they do not hear please, I beg, or anything. They will impose penalty on us. Where some of the regulators comes late to a statutory meeting must be seen as a very serious infraction. Regulators must be at the meetings at the start of the meeting because it's a statutory function. So I want to appeal to all the regulators that lateness will not be tolerated at a statutory meeting like an AGM. So also, they do not tolerate us to send in our returns later than when it is expected to be submitted. So I hope regulators will take note of that. Mr. Chairman, just like Chief Adesina said, I am very happy with the actions of John Holt that every year, good or bad, you will meet your shareholders, even though we're a minority, and in fact let them into the operations and returns of the company. That on its own will give a clear sympathy to the company by the shareholders. So I hope you'll keep it up. I'm just re-emphasizing this because Chief Adesina and Alaja Kudaisi had actually mentioned it. Now, the sectorial issues you are giving to us in this annual report does not clearly show what was the performance of those sectors. That is the companies that fall into this sectorial section, because there are operations that are positive in the sectorial section, but what you are showing us is the bottom line of the sectorial section. It is also good for us to know how they perform sectorial embodiment of such sectorial, so that the shareholders will also be able to walk along with you and see those sectors. Mr. Chairman, I also saw on the annual report that our properties that were pledged were properties outside Lagos. That brings me to find out from you, does it mean we do not have any property of our own in Lagos State again? So it's very, very important that we should know that. Mr. Chairman, I would like to say it straight by thanking the technical partners. But even though, if we do not thank them and if they did not take such an action, they own 52.something% of the equity of this company. So every liability will be shared along the line of shareholding of the company. So they have no choice but to take off this liability, because they know that at the end of the day, what brought in the exchange issue can be seen to have come mainly from our transaction with them. So therefore, the best thing they have done is what they have done. And I think we should also thank them to do more to get out of this. I can see in this account that we still have about 4 billion naira to pay them, and they also have 2-point-something billion naira to pay us. So in order to make this account very clear to us, for people to understand that we have worked well, why don't we net it off? 2-point-something, 4-point-something, we will then know that we'll be having just 2-point-something million naira from what we call, there's a name on that. Let me just go to that page. It's called non-current liabilities. We knock it off and then be able to reduce our non-current liabilities to whatever is removed from what is due to them and what is due to us. That's on page 23 of the abridged. Then Elijah has actually talked about the receivables. I've looked into this account and I've seen that few things would have given us a profit. Now, the trade receivables, which of course was higher than what it was last year, I am one of those who believe that we should pay those we are owing and be able to access more credit from them. Last year we had 1.4. This year we are having 1.6. So we should try. Because when you are paying those we are owing, then we will also be able to get those who are owing us to pay down the whole thing. It is very, very important that we should look at it. Now, the balance sheet size of our company came down instead of going up. Like the speakers before me have advised, we have to do something to ensure that a company that was established in 1897, a company that contributed to the establishment of First Bank, a company that was at the same level of entrance that helped to bring in UAC, a company that was instrumental to NAL, which is now Sterling Bank. I mean, the balance sheet size of this company ought to have been more than what it is today. So I am appealing that we must work very hard to ensure that we boost this company. Let grandpa be healthy. Since the children are healthy, grandpa too should be healthy, so that he'll be very happy that he is the grandpa of all these institutions that are very healthy today. Mr. Chairman, I am looking at some regulations by the regulators that we must have at least three independent non-executive directors. We need to work hard to comply with this. I'm also looking at the regulators' requirement that paid up should be erased to what we call paid up should be authorized capital should be raised to a paid up. Today we are having a difference of about 10 million, not up to 10 million naira, because presently we have 195 as against the 200 paid up that we're having. So what will happen to the remaining 5 or 10 million shares? Now, the issue is that there will be a penalty by the end of next year. If we do not comply, there's going to be a penalty or not. So the board must sit down and decide whether to erase it off or to patch it up to pay bonus to the shareholders, because that will be very wide But it will be understandable that we are trying to comply with the regulators. So it's very important. I also look at somewhere in the, I want to thank you for increasing the workforce anyway, which went up. And I'm quite sure that what we are considering is as at September last year. Could be that it has gone up a bit again, or it has come down within the period from September 30th last year to this moment. But whatever, we have to thank you that it went up on the account being considered. Now, I am also worried on the borrowings that has to be attached to importation. That borrowing was actually based on 390 naira to $1, the Fidelity issue. Today the naira is galloping. It's about almost 540 to $1. So the best thing the chairman can do to us is to give us some of the dollars as gift, so that we'll all remember you for life. Now, I am worried and I'm asking, how are we going to manage such a situation? MD, I hope somebody will be writing down for you. I'm coming. There's a very important thing that I noted in this annual report. By now, this is through the chairman to the FD. By now, I think we shouldn't have any unclaimed dividend, because the last dividend we paid was 16 years ago. So we shouldn't have anything on that account. Everything must have been returned back to the company. My colleagues will just pardon me. You know I'm using the small one, and you all use the big one. Yes, there's an item on related party transaction, which I am so pleased with. Of course, the action of the chairman, he had no choice. Christopher University and Iboku Microfinance Company Limited. We want to thank you for allowing us to do business and businesses with these two organizations. And from this report, it's saying that you are not owing us. If you had owed us, maybe I would have given you a fake laughter. So, well, on that same page, related transaction is what I've said about our relationship with Liverpool, you know, which I'm appealing, if it's possible, let's net it off, so as to reduce the volume of debt here. But I want to find out something. In this annual report, it's under a section there we said we are not owing, we did not borrow. But if we look at the entire structure of the account, we have borrowed. Maybe it's not significant enough for us to say we did not borrow. We have borrowed. We borrowed from Fidelity, we borrowed from individual, which of course the last statement here did not say. Well, okay. I talked about Fidelity Bank.
So we identified the page where it is written that we did not borrow.
No, that you did not borrow is there. Is there. By the time you are answering other questions, I will get it and pass it to you. Because under borrowing is dash 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 in this account. I will show it to you. Finally, I want to say again that it's these regulatory issues is very important that we meet them. Because we're a small board, if they are saying that we must have 3 independent non-executive directors, I do not know whether the regulators will allow conversion. SEC is here. We allow conversion of some directors to independent non-executive director. We did it in a company where I also hold a board seat. I am one of those that I agreed to convert to independent non-executive. I haven't had anything negative, but I've heard from other companies that sought my advice on it. I said they can convert, and they said the regulators are saying they cannot convert. So, but the company secretary should do an exercise on that to really find out, because if there's a company that is even managing to be at float and you are forcing the company to bring in additional 3 directors, it's going to be a very serious burden on such company, and that's why a proper investigation needs to be done on that. Mr. Chairman, I think I should on consolidated statement of financial position as at I don't know the page it will be on the glossy, but on the abridged it's on page 23. It's showing here loans and borrowing. Loans and borrowing is note 31. Showing note 31. I will also look for where I saw dash dash. Okay. No. I'm sorry. Loans and borrowing is showing dash here for the year 2020. For the year 2019 is showing 13. FD, have you seen it? What you have there is different. Well, see, the account, whether in glossy or abridged, should be the same.
Yeah. Loans and borrowings. Go to loans and borrowings.
So, you will look at it. You will look at it.
Okay.
Now, is that share? If you go up, if you also go up, loans and borrowing is also showing note 31, 938. You've seen that? Good. So down below, loans and borrowing in the year 2020 is also showing note 31 is showing dash. You've seen it. So you have to correct it. It will be explained. So on that note, I will like to congratulate the board again that at least we are seeing what is going on. It's not hopeless, but it's hopeful. When we look at the statement of the chairman and the contribution of one of the youngest man here, Chief Adesina, it is hopeful, and we believe that it is hopeful. So our advice to other shareholders we are representing, you can see the small capital, we're having 50-something thousand shareholders. So it shows the interest of shareholders in John Holt. I will employ the chairman and the management to do everything possible to reunite the family of John Holt. Please, sir. Thank you very much. God bless all of us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
questions or comments? Thank you very much. Let me start with the last one. Chief Sonny, you said we should try and reunite the family. I think the family is intact. It shows by the way we are relating with shareholders versus the PLC. It shows by the type of suggestions you're giving, the type of questions you ask, which shows that the interest of the shareholders is really always there. They want John Holt to do well, and we appreciate the way you go about it. The management and staff, the directors, management, staff are working very hard to ensure that this company survives and that at the end of the year we are able to pay a dividend. We realize the importance of getting dividends. We realize, we know that some of our shareholders are pensioners who look forward to some payment at the end of the year. It's unfortunate that we haven't been able to do that for some years due to forces that have militated against the type of results we expect from the company. So we must say that we will continue to ensure that at the end of the day the dividend is paid. I will answer most of the questions, and the managing director and the finance director can also chip in on things like diversification, the questions on loans and borrowings, which I'm sure they have cleared. So let me start with some of the items mentioned by our very good friend Chief Timothy. Again, he talked about relationship with shareholders, which we will try to ensure that is strong at all times. Our company secretary is here all the time and ready to receive and answer questions from shareholders. She is our main liaison person. Yes, I said we are optimistic about the future. That doesn't mean the future is rosy. We are going through very difficult times. We can all see the effect of foreign exchange on our prices and the ability of customers to respond. We have all seen the difficulty in obtaining foreign exchange, even when we have imported goods. To pay the foreign suppliers is sometimes a big problem, because you can wait for months before you receive payment for confirmed letters of credit. This is affecting imports. It's affecting our relationship with suppliers overseas. And this is a problem that I must say most companies haven't found a way out of. And this of course makes it difficult to make predictions about sales in the future. Because unless you're able to pay what you bought in the past, you may have the naira here waiting to pay. It's difficult to get the foreign exchange to pay. And to make it worse for companies, for some goods that you've sold already, you are unable to pay months after you have sold the goods. And the exchange rates are moving against you all the time. As a company that has been in Nigeria for years, we are optimistic because we have gone through a lot of ups and downs in the economy. And we know that eventually things will stabilize, and that we will make sure we keep working, keep providing employment until we can see that the economy stabilizes. You did mention that the company should be more aggressive. Again, that is true. We are working on that. We are trying to change some of. Anyway, for every staff, he has a key performance index that shows this is what you have to perform, this is what you have to do, and it's up to you to do that, or you may have to give way to somebody who is going to be able to do that. So we'll continue to do that. Then we talk to you about what we are doing about diversification, about hybrid power solutions, and prepaid meters and the lot. Elijah asked about dividend payment, which I have mentioned. It is we all are looking. Maybe we should look at agricultural processing again. Thank you for appreciating the Liverpool people for absorbing some of the exchange losses in order to stabilize our company. You mentioned that admin expenses were higher this year than last year. The finance director will tell you what it's about. You also talked about contingent liabilities, which is going to let you know what it's about. But the contingent liabilities amount were not stated because these are law cases. People go to court and they claim all amounts of money. It doesn't mean that they will be paid. What we do is, before the accounts are prepared, we seek the opinion of our lawyers to see if any of these things will materialize. If any of it will materialize, we will recognize it in the accounts by making a provision for it. And if he thinks that there is no likelihood that it will be paid, then no provision is made. Shareholder Kenneth Mosu has his own questions. He asked about the branches. We have so many branches. Are they all functioning? The answer is yes. They are all functioning. Either they're selling generators or air conditioners or providing service. Or, all the branches are functioning. Or we're using them for MRDS. The MRDS is a situation where we warehouse goods for manufacturers who do not have branches. And those 19 branches are important because most of them want to spread their goods across Nigeria. So they are functioning. The question about audit committee has already been answered. The new regulation is that we should have 5, 3 from shareholders, 2 from the company. We are going to comply with that. Chief Sonny also talked about regulatory infractions, but of course he was not aiming at us, he was aiming at the regulators, and we can't complain about regulators. Yes, we thank you for appreciating that we keep regular AGMs. We assure you that we will not deviate from that. The sectoral performance, you want more details, and from next year we'll give more details. We do give details about turnover and what. So we'll try and give a little more detail. Properties pledged outside Lagos. Yes, most of our properties are outside Lagos. You remember there was a time when we were heavily in debt to banks, up to around 6 billion naira, 7 billion. You remember very well. We had to dispose some of the properties to meet the requirements of the banks. Your request that we net off LP's balance is taken, the finance director has taken it. Actually, it comes to the same thing, and we just net it off. trade receivables. It's not, we try to keep to our terms of trade so that it doesn't discourage suppliers. So in terms of trade receivables, you should have no, we have no problems to our terms of trade. We've noted what you said, our balance sheet size, which of course is related to the profitability of the company. So what we have to do is to try and make sure we make more profit, and that will increase our balance sheet size. 3 independent directors, we've noted your advice. We will try and find out more about what we can do about independent directors and whether the number is related to the size of the board, which I think should be important. The difference between authorized and paid up capital, the difference is so small that, as you said, we can do something about it. I've talked about the dollar rates and the effect on bank loans, and in fact our loans generally, because the bank loans the effect is due to the non-payment of the suppliers. Really, if we pay the suppliers and the loans are in naira, if the loans are in naira, then there is no problem. So the finance directors, I think, is spending sleepless nights trying to find ways of raising dollars for our suppliers. The outstanding dividend issue is true. There should be no outstanding dividend after 12 years. The related party transactions are all at arm's length. They are all arm's length transactions. And of course, related parties should buy from us. Yeah. So thank you very much. I will ask the MD to please talk a bit about diversification. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning again, shareholders. We are grateful for not just your attendance, but the support you have shown all these years. These meetings are important because we get a lot of support, a lot of advice on how to grow our company. The Chairman has addressed the issues to do with... Okay, is this better? Okay, the Chairman has addressed the issues to do with the macroeconomic factors. Concerning diversification, your company is a big one. We have a network of branches. So the truth is, there's really no business that we cannot do. We have a strong name, and we're able to leverage that in different situations. Specifically though, we're looking at FMCG as one of the things that we can do. We have the branches, we have the warehouses. We can leverage the population to maximize that. That's one of the things we're considering. Power is a major area for us. We've dealt in generators, diesel generators for many years. 5 years ago, we went into hybrid, solar. But even that, we have developed further. We're looking at power as a service now, because people really can't afford the equipment, the solar equipment. So we're developing in that way as well. So these are some of the areas that we're looking at, and we'll continue to branch out in order to satisfy the expectation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished shareholders. And so the reason I have this skin coat is to hide my gray hair. All right. I would like to address the loan you raised. Loans are in two categories: current and non-current. The account, where the note you referred to, current liabilities 938, non-current dash. So that doesn't suggest, it doesn't suggest that there is no borrowing. We are saying that under non-current, there is no borrowing. But for current liabilities, we have 938 million. All right. So the current. Oh, the non-current are those that are over 1 year. Current, I heard that. Yes. That part, yeah, mainly the capital profits. Then the other thing to quickly address is the dividend. We don't have any unclaimed dividend in the accounts. Okay, I thought you raised that because there's no unclaimed dividends in the account. Okay. Yes. All right. Okay. All right. Then contingent liabilities. They are mainly legal cases that are in courts. I think the chairman has already addressed that. Increase in admin expenses. We have one of the items that led to the increase, long drawn case that we had in court. Unfortunately, the final judgment was against the company, and we had to make provision. No, this particular case is yes, industrial, yes, Court of Appeal. The second item is loss on disposal of his asset. Because of the challenge we have with forest liability, we needed to mitigate the loss. So we sold the property that resulted into a loss. So that was part of what led to increase in admin expenses. Receivables. Yeah. The chairman also addressed that, but part of the cost of receivables withholding tax. It's not like we are owing. It's not really debtor. The major item there is withholding tax, and the reason is because we have not paid taxes for some years because of the challenge of the company. I think those are the. I think I've addressed the water. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. Since there are no further questions, I declare that the Director's report and audited accounts for the year ended 30th September 2020 have been received. That I have laid it before the yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there are 7 items on the agenda to be deliberated on today. I hereby call a poll on items 2, 3, 6, and 7 on the agenda pursuant to section 251 Component and Allied Matters Act 2020. Therefore, voting for the resolutions in respect of each agenda item will be carried out electronically. Each shareholder has been given a voting device, and the results will be displayed online for holders attending virtually to view. Please note that as there are ordinary resolutions, each resolution requires 50% of the total votes cast in order to be passed. I will now invite the registrars to provide an explanation about the electronic voting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wait for electronic voting instructions. An electronic device was issued to those eligible to vote. The device has been activated and is ready for use even if the face is blank. Please avoid pressing any button before the voting is announced. A resolution will be announced and voting for the resolution will commence thereon. On the voting pad, 1 represents for, 2 represents against, and 3 represents abstain. You press 1 to vote for a resolution. You press 2 to vote against a resolution, and you press 3 to abstain. Voting for a resolution starts and ends in 30 seconds. The voting results will be displayed immediately each voting session closes. And the unit hold indicated on the result slide is in multiples of 1,000. Please do not touch any other button on the voting pad other than 1, 2, or 3. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Don't start trying it out before. Okay. Agenda item 2. At this meeting, Dr. Christopher Fesonanchi Eze and Mr. Sheriff Mojirola Yusuf are retiring from the board and being eligible have offered themselves for re-election. Dr. Christopher Eze is physically attending the meeting while Sheriff Yusuf is attending the meeting visually. Mr. Adim Jubuno, who was appointed the director after the last AGM in accordance with articles of association of the company and being eligible offers himself for election. The director is attending visually as well. I don't know if there are any questions before we put the motions for re-election and election to the vote. Okay. So, I hereby move that Dr. Christopher Fesonanchi Eze be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the company. Would another shareholder please rise and second the motion? Thank you very much. I now hand over to the registrar to conduct the poll.
I rise to second the motion. My name is Alaja Kudaisi.
Thank you very much. So, those in favor? By poll, yeah, by poll. Voting is by poll. So, can you say when they should start voting?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can we have this resolution on the slide, please? You may now vote, please, dear shareholders. Mr. Chairman, we have 97% in favor of the resolution and 3% against the resolution. This translates to
the figures.
This translates to 211,909,000 in favor of the resolution, 6,966,000 against the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is almost unanimous. The second re-election of Mr. Sherif Yusuf. I hereby move that Mr. Sherif Yusuf be and is hereby related as a director of the company. Another shareholder, please rise and second this motion. Thank you. Thank you, Chief Timothy. Okay. And we put this.
Can we have the resolution slide, please? You may now vote now, dear shareholders.
The light will come on.
Mr. Chairman, we have 97% in favor of the resolution and 3% against the resolution. This translates to 211,909,000 in favor of the resolution and 6,966,000 against the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you again. A good result. We congratulate Sherif Yusuf. We thank the shareholders for re-electing him. The next person Jubuno. Adim Jubuno. Election of Mr. Adim Jubuno, who joined the board after the last AGM. I hereby move that Mr. Adim Jubuno be and is hereby elected as the director of the company. Would another shareholder please rise and second this motion? Thank you, Mr. Mosu.
Resolution slide, please.
Thank you very much.
Dear shareholders, you may now vote, please. Mr. Chairman, we have 100% in favor of the resolution.
This is unanimous.
Yes.
We thank the shareholders and congratulate Mr. Adim Jubuno. So shareholders, we now have two directors re-elected and one director elected during this meeting. Next on the agenda is the remuneration of the auditors. Section 4081B of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that their remuneration shall be fixed by the company general meeting or in such manner as the company general meeting may determine. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting? If there are no questions, we shall proceed. Would the shareholder kindly move that the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration and the expenses of auditors in respect of the year ending 30 September 2021. Thank you very much. Any support? No.
Resolution slide, please. Dear shareholders, you may now vote, please. Mr. Chairman, we have 100% in favor of the resolution. This translates to 218,875,000 units.
Thank you very much. We thank the shareholders for giving us 100% support on this. So I declare that the resolution to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration and the expenses of the auditors in respect of the year ending 30 September 2021 has been passed. Agenda item 4. The next item on the agenda is the disclosure of the remuneration of managers of the company for the financial year ended 30 September 2020 in accordance with section 257 of CAMA 20. The remuneration is disclosed on page 18, note 14 of the annual report on accounts. That's okay. The next item on the agenda is the election of members of the audit committee. Section 404 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 provides that a maximum of 5 members of the audit committee consisting of 2 directors and 3 representatives of the shareholders be elected at an annual general meeting. The Act further provides that in the case of election of the shareholders' representatives, nominations should be received not later than 21 days before the date of the meeting. The Board of Directors have nominated the following 2 directors for election as members of the Audit Committee, Mr. Sharif Yusuf and Mr. David Pamley. Since the Board has made valid nominations as required by Section 444, there is no need to vote on them. I hereby declare that the 2 directors are hereby appointed as members of the Audit Committee representing the directors. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 3.
I want to suggest that a director in Nigeria, a non-executive director in Nigeria, can be used against David. But I can imagine what you are thinking, because since they are the majority shareholder in the company, you want them to know what is going on in the company. But things can be reported to David from time to time. And you know, I don't want to dwell too much on David because I know him, you know, so that we can have a fast meeting here and the report will be sent to them. It amounts to the same thing.
Okay, this is for a period of 1 year.
Yes.
During the next nomination period, we will try and see what we can do.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
There are 3 more seats to be filled in accordance with the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 on the Audit Committee. 3 nominations were received by the Company Secretary and the shareholders for election as members of the Audit Committee. Are there any questions before the motion is put? Since there are no further questions, so the 3 Okay. 3 valid nominations. We have Mr. Samuel, we have Chief Olu Akone, Mr. Samuel Pamugo, and Mr. Christopher Mwaguru. So these are hereby elected, plus the other 2 directors. So the 5 of them are duly elected. Thank you. Okay, any support? Thank you very much. But you just said he doesn't like traveling. The next item on the agenda is for the directors to fix their remuneration. The directors' remain the same as last year. It involves everybody on this table. I'm not an executive. Okay, the director's fees, non-executive directors. Okay, so you can conduct that one. Is it not in the yeah, but he's done.
Year ending
2021.
Yes.
But in 2020, he was a director in 2020. He was appointed immediately after the so it will be the same for next year.
Okay. He's already part of it.
Yeah,
Correct.
he's already part of it.
Okay, the director's remuneration is to remain the same as last year. Are there any questions before the motion is? Yes, 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 sir.
So 7 million, the chairman will receive to other directors. That's
Okay, sir.
Fortunately, this one was not advertised.
For the preparation of this document.
Okay.
7 million, chairman 10 kobo. Other non-executive directors 20 kobo each. You understand?
I do, sir. Or shall we proceed for the basis of this?
Let him give you a breakdown.
You don't have any. Okay, so
So you have to be prepared. This COVID will not last forever. Because we must be having a full AGM. You just see somebody with 2 shares asking you the question and you must answer.
of course.
So that's why you have to tell us how much is the chairman taking as director's fee? How much other directors? It's a simple thing now.
The chairman director's fee was 145, but there is other directors' fees.
The fee is a fee. It doesn't concern other things. A fee
Director's
fee.
fees.
It's a fee
Director's
on
fees.
its own. It's only when
It's not the expenses
you are
of
now
anything.
disclosing the full package of each director, that you will add those things in the annual report.
The chairman's director's fee is 440,000.
I think it's better to say you don't have figures.
Yeah, you can.
And
Out of 7 million, how can you say
next time
400 and
provide?
So let me clarify this. 7 million includes expenses.
That's what they're telling you. Director's fees excludes expenses.
yes. Separated. And Mr. Akon, please help them out.
All right, sir, thank you. That is noted. We'll make the required adjustments for next year. Okay, would the shareholder kindly move that the remuneration of the chairman and each non-executive director for the year ending 30th September 2021 be and is hereby approved? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Musa. Any support? Thank you, Elijah. Okay, I think that's all.
Where the graduation and high school for directors should be 20,000, means like 20 million needs as directors. Don't be me and you. You want to make sure you pay your tax.
Is there a poll? Is there a poll?
Resolution slide, please. Dear shareholders, you may now vote, please. From the results, we have 100% in favor of the resolution. This translates to 218,875,000 units in favor of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Following the results of the voting, as announced by the registrar, I hereby declare that the resolution that the directors fix their remuneration for the year ending 30th September 2021 be approved has been passed.
Thank you very much. I thank the shareholders for approving the resolution. Agenda item 7. I propose that the general mandate given to the company to enter into necessary transactions with related parties in compliance with the NGX NIC rules governing transactions with related parties be renewed. Are there any questions before the motion is over? Since there are no further questions, we shall proceed. I now hand over to the registrar to conduct the poll. The motion is supported. Okay.
Dear shareholders, you may now vote, please. From the results, we have 100% in favor of the resolution.
Thank you very much.
This translates to 218,875,000 units in favor of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Following the results of the voting as announced by the registrar, I hereby declare that the resolution of the general mandate given to the company to enter into necessary transactions with related parties be and is hereby renewed. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the agenda. On behalf of the board, I thank you for your attendance at this meeting. We wish to express our appreciation for your continued interest and support for our community over the years. In the absence of any other business, ladies and gentlemen, I declare the meeting closed. Thank you very much. Can somebody again please volunteer for the closing prayers?
I thank Almighty Allah for the successful meeting we've just had. I place the board and directors and management of this company under the care of God Almighty for protection, for guidance, and for thoughtful deliberations on how to move this company forward. May Almighty God take preeminent control of this company for us as we enter another year very soon. May the result of this company must have multiplied in multiple fold by the special grace of God. As we finish this meeting and we are going to our homes and different directions, may God Almighty take us home safely in the mighty name of Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna ataynaka al-kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar inna shani'aka huwal abtar. Amin. 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 Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifuna wassalamu ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
These are certainly not the type of news stories we want to wake up to every morning. Solution is here. RIV stands for Rapid Intervention Vehicle, a sleek dual agent extinguishing system with an integrated water and foam tank, specially designed by John Holt PLC, a veritable tool for safeguarding lives and property. RIV leaves no water damage as it converts water to vapor, protects firefighters through its relentless water supply, maneuvers through narrow lanes and rough terrain,